So I received a letter of the STD results, right? And my mom opened it.
No. Hey, it's Sonia. Welcome to another episode of Men Explain. Thank you so much for coming back week after week for our new episodes. If you haven't already subscribed, please do so. Send it to all your friends and your family. Let them know there's good content right here. Now, today, I haven't actually met our guest in person till this moment, and I really want to get deep with this conversation here. Watch a couple of his videos, and one that I picked up most recently got me pretty emotional. At the same time, I was like laugh crying. Welcome to the set, Rainier.
Hey.
Hey, tell our audience a little bit more about yourself.
Okay, so my name is Rainier. I'm a content creator. And I recently actually opened a video production house. Yeah. And doing that, I also quit my job.
Yeah, I heard.
Yeah.
How has that been? Is it liberating or
The day that I finished serving my notice, I was like, oh, there was so much like relief and like the burdens from your shoulders were gone. But then there's also like new burdens because startup ma.
Yeah, good on you for taking
Thank you,
that
thank you.
leap as well. And we're here today to chat a little bit more about some touchy topics I feel not addressed enough. Do our body parts define our identity and who we are?
Yeah.
And the reason why we've got Rainier here in the studio, you've got a lot to share. And just watching your recent video alone, where you shared about your cancer journey, it was very difficult to watch. At the same time, it was emotional, yet you had the lighter side of things to that video too. I could tell that you processed a lot already. Can you take us through that journey and your recovery and all that, just to catch up a little before we start?
Going back when I just got diagnosed, right, it was very tough for me because it was the same week that I moved out.
So in your video you mentioned that a lot of things were happening at once.
Correct. I wanted to just be the man that I can be, you know, that kind of thing, right? And then when I got the diagnosis, I was like, oh shit. Now I have to depend on people again, you know, that kind of thing, which to me, I didn't like being taken care of. I want to be the one taking care of my family, that kind of stuff. So, and there was also that particular part in my brain, I was like, maybe I don't tell them.
No.
Yeah.
No.
There was a part of me just like, maybe don't tell. I mean, how hard can cancer be, right? Then
okay, this guy.
I tried for a week, but then I really just stopped.
You need to you need to get it off. And you mentioned that you actually told your mom on the phone.
Yes.
How did she take to that? Look, I tell you, my relationship with my family, right? Like if I get a cut, I have to tell them immediately. They'll rush down. Like they're that kind of people. They will overreact.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing that I had. My mom was like, no, we need to go down. And I'm like, no. I scolded her on the phone because I'm like, if you come, I will cry.
I get where you're coming from though. Like you don't want to unlock the whole well of emotions.
Correct. I wanted to be like just just get on with it.
Yeah.
Take out whatever cells that is not working, you know, that kind of thing, and just get through it lah.
But I'm so happy to see you.
Thank you.
Well, today you look great.
Thank
you
you.
look great, and you're here with us here in the studio as well. Was it difficult to consider talking about testicular cancer on a public platform?
Being the content creator that I am,
He was like, I'm making a video.
obviously I had that thought. When I see like the content space right now, there has been in recent years people talking about like sickness and like going through the journey, right? But in Singapore, not much. And I think it's also maybe a very Asian mindset that we don't talk about health. I do get comments like, why you put this online?
Right.
Which is like, it sucks because I didn't ask for I obviously I'm a content creator, so like, you know, if the views are more, then obviously it's great, right?
Right.
But then it's also like I didn't really do it for the fame, but more so like when I was going through it, I didn't have anybody to relate to.
Yeah.
And that's to me what content creators aspire to be able to connect to an audience. My friends were very supportive, my family was supportive, right? But it wasn't like they know. Yeah, they know how it is. Yeah, only my chemo buddies, like the ones that sit beside me during chemo, then we'll be able to like chit chat about these kind of things lah. Yeah.
I watched your video, and just looking at the comments alone, there's so much support pouring in, like 600 plus comments right now, I think, at this point in time. And it was really brave of you to post about that, because I think also to a certain sense, men feel very paise to talk about these things. How are you gonna talk about your balls like on YouTube? I mean, that's not easy at all, right? And I mean, the way that you delivered it was very matter of fact, was very casual, but also because you've already been through it.
I had a lot of time to process it already. It's like months.
Yeah.
But if I were to do it like in the beginning, it would just be like, it's basically like the why me mentality. Like, why me? You know, I never do anything. I was the best son. You know, that kind of shit, right? So I did have time to like process everything. So that's good lah. And I didn't want to dwell too much on the sadness.
Yeah. When you were, going through that entire process, did you think, I'm going to be less of a man after this entire ordeal?
Definitely. When they were cutting me out of the OR, right, I was still drugged up, so I was just like, when the drugs wore off, I started to cry.
Oh man.
It was a realization that I had one body part gone, right? Although not as not like leg or whatever, right? But it's still like a part of your identity in that sense to me at that time. I may not be able to have kids. And also, I mean, during the sexual intercourse, people were, like, my partners will ask, what happened to the other one? That kind of thing. Yeah, so that also weighed down on me.
So on that note, I mean, if you don't mind me asking, only if you don't mind me asking, ever since you went through the medical procedures and everything, have you been physically intimate with anyone?
Yes.
And how did it go?
Funny enough, they never ask questions. So it's all in my head actually, because before the surgery, right? Like actually that's the reason why I want I've always been an advocate for being transparent and like all these, right? Because one of the reasons why I knew it was cancer was because my partner at that time did say something about like, hey, got something wrong, right? Because I don't do the check myself, or which everybody should do. After the surgery, right, I always had this thinking like, oh shit, people gonna ask. Even if they don't say, right, I'm sure they are in their head like, why this guy only got one ball?
Yeah.
You know, that kind of thing, right?
Okay. But you feel like you're overthinking it.
Correct. And that whole ball issue, that whole height issue, I think all my partners have never said like, oh, you're too short.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of thing. Or like, oh, you have one ball. Yeah. That kind of stuff. Because I also do have existing body image issues already. So this is another thing like piling up. Then I'm like, shit, man. I'm less of a man already. And then just because of this, then I also like...
It piles on.
Yeah. I do think that it's not as intense as what women have to go through. Because, I mean, women body image issues is like a whole thing, right? And when women have to go through body image issues, it's always like to be skinny or... Right. I mean, it changes...
We're also influenced by what we see in the media, or like we want to look like this model, or unrealistic.
The male version is slightly more forgiving. Like, you can be a bit more like chubby and they will just, oh, it's a dad bod, and that kind of thing. Mine stems from weight and height. Yeah, because...
Height also?
Yeah. So I'm a short king.
Hey, but there have been a couple of short kings out there that made it really
exactly.
trendy.
Yeah. But before they went like viral and be the trend, right? Last time being a short guy is not the most ideal one. You want to be like taller because the standard of beauty for men is you have to be tall, dark, and handsome.
Right.
I have the other two.
Yeah, the other two. That's right. I don't disagree.
Yeah, so I'm not tall lah. So that was something that hindered me in my dating processes as well.
Then just date petite girls lah.
No, even the petite girls want the tallest man.
Oh.
The one that look like they eating the giant carrot. You know,
I see.
that meme. Yeah.
I know. I too struggle with those things. As you can tell, I'm also a small person.
Yeah.
I think being petite or shorter as a girl is not as bad as for men. I've got a couple of short king friends as well, and they are trying to embrace it, but it is a deep insecurity. Yeah. It's not something that you can change. Us being in the media, sometimes we may get comments. I mean, I'm not sure if you've experienced any not so nice
Your comments, no comments what?
What? On my platform?
Yeah, no comment what?
God, sometimes. Yeah. So there have been a couple of times people are like, oh, you're such an airplane runway, or like, oh, you're so short, or you're so this. There have been.
Actually, speaking of like social media, right? Like the airport runway thing.
Yeah.
Have
casual, very casual.
Has the comments ever like affected you in that sense?
Definitely. And I always think about this moment. Years ago, when I just joined the industry, right? And I got my first magazine cover. This magazine doesn't exist anymore because it shut down like literally after I did this cover. Maybe my copy sold so badly, they were like, okay, bye, we're out. I was super insecure because actually I didn't think much about my body type or the way that I looked last time because I didn't expect to go into media. It wasn't what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a journalist. I just wanted to like write and be behind the scenes. So when I first got that magazine cover, I was like, okay, I'll do it, but maybe can we, style it in a way where it's not so revealing, I guess? Because they said, don't worry, trust us, everything's okay. We'll do a little bit of shading, contouring, you're good. So I was like, okay, look, actually looks pretty good. Like, hello, I have boobs for once. And then the magazine came out. They did a bit of DI or that, okay? I'm not gonna lie. And it wasn't that revealing. My colleagues back then, guys, by the way, who do not work at my station anymore. In fact, one of them recently got into trouble.
Oh, damn.
Won't say where or what or who this person is, but you might know this person. So they actually got a copy of the magazine and they vandalized it. And they wrote things like airport runway and like blah, blah, blah and all that. And they posted it on Facebook.
Yeah.
And I took it as a joke because I was the newest person there and I just like laughed it off and I was like, haha, like, I just have to take it in my stride and be a big girl about it because I don't want to seem affected. But of course, back then, I felt like, wow, they single-handedly just ruined that moment for me because I was kind of excited to see the cover or like have this magazine. And they just kind of squashed it,
Wow. If that happened to me, I would have
been upset.
Obviously, you were upset also, right?
I was upset for sure.
But I don't know, maybe I would have done the boob surgery.
You would have done. Yeah, no, I mean, I know some friends who have done, like, they've undergone.
I mean, good for them.
Yeah, good for you. Like, you can make your own decisions and if that makes
correct.
you more confident and happier, then that's good.
Yeah. You had this experience, right? What was your coping mechanism?
My coping mechanism was just to be by myself. And like I read a lot. Like I read a lot of books. It's very weird now because you're looking at me now here doing this job and you're probably like, wow, this is not expected. But I really think I leaned a lot on my family. Like I'm very close to them, leaned a lot on them, told them everything, you know. So I think that was something that was crucial to my development years as well.
Okay, I just want to say this, you are beautiful.
Thanks. You're handsome.
Thank you. No, just now when you step in, I starstruck lah.
They don't know lah, really.
Like, legit. That's why I'm a bit nervous also.
Is it? Not nervous anymore. This guy calling himself handsome on our show, by the way. Is this something that you open up about with your guy friends? Like, do you talk about it? Do you ever open up and say like, really? Because amongst girls, right, I mean, we always bitch and whine and moan about how we look. You don't talk about that with your man friends?
I think it's not like talking about it, but we tease each other.
You do?
It's like more on weight lah. I think because the height one is a more sensitive issue for guys because weight you can change. But my guy friends will like poke me on my stomach because I got a stomach lah.
Okay.
You know, it's fun and games, but also after a while I'm like,
it hurts.
Lame lah.
It hits deep.
It hits deep.
But when it comes to comparing ourselves with others, right? When we look at social media and all that, do you think being in the media has accelerated your insecurities in a way as well?
Yes. The fact that you see yourself more often, like even the Zoom. I think do you know the Zoom effect? Like how during the COVID, everybody started to be more aware of what they look like. And then the rate of plastic surgery went up during COVID.
Did it? Really?
Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I didn't know that.
It really did went up because people were like seeing yourself on screen. Yeah. Then they were like, oh shit, my eye a bit wonky, that kind of thing.
But okay, for men too, aside from just physical appearance, do you guys talk about like sexual performance and like, oh, I scored this, I scored that adds on to your like ego and the way that you feel about yourself?
I do think that it was a young man thing. Yeah.
You're still young, what?
I'm a millennial. Yeah. But last time when, growing up like 20 plus, that kind of thing, right? That one was more of like, it's a thing because you will flex like, I beg this chick, blah, 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 that kind of thing, right? But now it's also like, you're more mature, you're less childish. I also subscribe to I don't kiss and tell.
Oh.
Yeah.
You don't kiss and tell with your friends even.
For example, if I let them meet this particular girl, right, then they will have their own
preconceived notions.
yeah,
is it?
because of what I say before. Right? I'm
Huh,
like, don't wanna.
really? But girls tell girls everything, you know.
I know, and that's the scariest part.
Right? So you know that girls tell girls
I know,
everything.
I know.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. So I feel bad because we really tell the nitty-gritty details.
women are more. They share more stuff, and like
Yes.
they're more emotional. So
Yeah.
like in terms of like they share the emotion stuff. But
Yeah.
men, because of like maybe society and we are not allowed to share emotions and share whatever lah. But of course, like my friends do, we do talk about other stuff lah, not like our partners, but more so like life goals and stuff like that.
Wow.
Yeah,
so deep.
which is great. Like it's not like shallow.
Yeah, it's not shallow. Yeah. Do these body insecurities that we have also affect our sex life and our, I don't know, our intimacy in general?
I think definitely.
Yeah.
I think because we always put an emphasis on like, okay, like this one is the size thing,
Yeah.
right? That's the thing that guys they don't talk
The
about it.
size thing. Okay.
They don't talk about it, but they're always in their mind just like, am I adequate? You know, am I average? Right? It's the same thing as height, ma. It's all about size, right? The
Really?
bigger the better. You know
Hold
that kind of
on.
thing.
Do you really think bigger is better?
As in, like
No,
now,
honestly,
I,
honestly,
no,
like-
now I know that it's not the truth.
Yes,
Right.
okay.
There's a term called. Can I say?
Yeah, please,
Okay.
go ahead.
There's a term called boyfriend dick lah, and that's the reason why, because you match, right? It doesn't have to be the biggest,
Right.
but you just match like match made in heaven lah, in a
Match
sense.
made in heaven. Okay.
Yeah, you can like plug. You
Right,
can
perfect
plug
fit. The
yeah,
perfect fit.
fit.
Right.
But in the dating world, I guess, you just want to be the bigger. To us lah, you want to be bigger. You want to be the most muscular. You want to be the richest. You just want to be everything.
Yeah. Well, how do you then navigate through all these body image insecurities that you had? You said you want to try and accept some of them.
Yeah.
But do you also try and, I don't know, work out or?
My goal has always been Chris Hemsworth.
I see.
Definitely gonna reach that.
How's it going?
Definitely gonna reach that because like he's too buff lah. How to fit in this small body, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
Compact. It's very compact.
Yeah. The one that's more attainable is like Tom Holland because he also shocking.
And look at his girlfriend.
Yeah, man.
Zendaya, man. Damn. And she's taller than him, right? If
Yeah.
I'm not wrong.
So I'm for me as well, right? Like dating, I have dated girls who are taller. So I'm like okay.
How did
I'm generally okay lah.
How did that feel though?
Um,
It doesn't make you feel emasculated or anything, like.
as the years go by, I feel more okay with it. Last time is really like when you are immature and you're childish, right? You always want to be the bigger, the better, the
Yeah.
richer, whatever. But at the end of the day, like those things are very superficial and doesn't. Of course, it carries a little bit of weight, but it's not the be all and all thing, lah.
Just walk with personality.
Yeah, I mean beauty and looks and whatever, right? You just wait. It's always it's just skin deep, ma.
Okay, so there's a list of what attributes to being a man. I'm going to
Yeah.
read some out and you tell
Okay.
me what you agree and disagree with, okay? Some concerns. Okay, so manhood concerns. Lowered sex drive, erectile dysfunction, orgasm difficulties, and changes in ejaculation. These are some of the things that men are like ultra concerned with. I know, is this awkward that we're talking about this like on
bit,
the first time
a
that
bit.
we're meeting?
A bit.
Like, I don't know why this poor dude, you know, like we forced him to sit here, chat with me, and I'm like throwing him these questions, and he's just like, I want to die right now, please. Like, I'm gonna melt here.
When you guys gave me the topic, I was like,
You're like, oh my god.
Why?
Why? Okay, but let's just casually
Yeah.
talk about it then. Do you agree that these are some concerns? Like,
Definitely. I mean, there is a market for erectile dysfunction, all these like size, whatever things, right? There's a market to curb that,
yeah.
right? ED pills and all that, right?
Yeah.
So there is definitely a concern for men in general lah with these kind of topics. Even I myself, performance anxiety, there's nothing wrong with your
Body
equipment.
parts.
Yeah, you're not
nothing with the equipment.
nothing wrong with the equipment. It's just you're psyching yourself up like,
Yeah.
oh shit, am I gonna suffer this? Then it will just
Effect. Sometimes when you talk about like lowered sex drive and stuff, those are, I think, across both men and
Yeah.
women. What I worry about also sometimes is like after you get married or like you have kids, sometimes I see,
you're just in a slump.
yeah, I'm like, oh my gosh, like will that happen to us too?
Yeah.
Like, you know, in the future? Do you think that it's okay to chat about it with your partner or your future partner? Are you open about that? Have you done that before?
I've always done that. I've always been very clear
That's
and like
great.
transparent. I think
Yeah.
it's very important, not just because of like if you're talking about you want to have kids, you know,
Yeah.
like that kind of thing, right? But more so like sexual health. I mean, if you're gonna have sex, right, you want to be both safe,
Yeah.
right? And you can only assure each other if you tell each other that you're safe and you get tested. I mean, you don't anyhow say that you're safe, but you're not, right? Growing up as Asians, or like in the Asian culture, right? We don't talk about sex. We don't talk about a lot of things actually. But I think school tried, right? But parents don't at all.
Yeah.
So I think growing up, we feel like we cannot speak about it. Actually, recently, right? Because I get tested like every year, at least every year. Not because I'm sexually active or anything, but just because I am a hypochondriac. So I like anything happen, right? I was like, okay, test. So I received a letter of the STD results, right? And my mom opened it.
No.
Like it was last week. So she opened, then she was like, oh. Then she just put in then she asked me, you got doctor checkup, is it? Then I was like, yeah. Then she just put back, then she left the room. So it's like we never
Don't even talk about it.
Correct.
But you think it's embarrassing, that's why? Like people find it embarrassing to talk about it?
I think so lah. And also the upbringing. Yeah, they just don't want these awkward moments.
Yeah.
Like, and it's weird because I do hang out with a lot of my gay friends, right? And in the LGBT industry, LGBT,
community,
the
industry,
what I'm saying, the LGBT QIA plus community, right? They do get tested very often,
very regularly.
Right? I think also because they are more sexually active, right? Heterosexual couples don't. Even the ones that are sexually active, like the ones like my bros, right? Who last time we go out and like go club, right?
Okay.
I asked them before, like, hey, you got tested before? Never.
For women, because we definitely go for like at least yearly checks with the gynecologist and stuff. So these tests are a bit more normal or common to us. But for men, I'm very sure some of my friends have never even stepped into a doctor's office to do the SCD test before.
Yeah. I suddenly became the unofficial
Sing
poster
Life
boy.
ambassador. Is it? No.
No, like not just Sing Life, but also like unofficial poster boy for insurance everywhere.
Oh my
I am
goodness.
the
I hope you're
cautionary
making
tale.
bank from this.
I am the cautionary tale lah.
But you mentioned that you didn't get the right coverage, was it, prior to that? Because you didn't expect this to happen.
Correct. So I didn't get the lump sum. So like technically, you can get 300K if you sign the plan lah. But I didn't. Yeah. So I was just like, I try to hustle and like try to find people to see if they want to partner with me to join me in my journey lah. So Sing Life was one of them.
Of course, on a more serious note, you talked about the bleak possibilities of being a dad in the future as well.
Yes.
Was having kids always something on your radar? Did you always want to have kids?
Last time, I wanted 11 kids.
No.
Like
we're learning something new about him every few minutes. I'm like, hypochondriac, want 11 kids.
Yeah, no, but like last time, because I grew up in, I wouldn't say a big family, but the extended family was very, very big. And I like that community lah, right? The very kampong vibe. I wanted that for myself also in the future. But before the chemo, I had to freeze my sperm.
Oh, so you can still be that?
So I had to freeze my sperm, but the sperm also not good. So I don't know freeze for what.
So why?
So because when you go through chemo, they will kill all the cells, right?
Yeah.
So that means
the good cells are gone too.
Yeah. So after the chemo, the sperm will all die. So they try to freeze the ones that are somewhat okay. But because I already had cancer to begin with, right?
I see.
So it was affected lah.
Okay. So then how would this affect your thought process moving forward? Like, talking about kids and all that.
Wow. It's a conversation that I will have with my partner lah. But I think also I have it easier because people have watched the video already.
Yeah.
People know that I got the testicular cancer shit.
Yeah.
So they wouldn't be surprised if they see something missing down there.
So ever since you've been on this journey, and we're talking about how body parts sometimes we attach our self-worth and our identity to these. For men, when you say being a man is not defined by your testicles, what then do you feel you are defined by?
I think like there's also this like age-old like notion that, for example, for women, right, the ability to childbear is what makes you a woman, that kind of thing, right? And same goes for being able to make babies and like procreate and like spread the seed, that kind of thing. Is what it means to be a man last time, right? But nowadays also is like you said, you don't have to have kids. some even have fur babies, right? You
Yeah.
know? To me, it's about being stable, being dependable, and also being someone that your partner wants you to be, to support them. Sometimes we put so much emphasis on like the man must be the breadwinner,
breadwinner,
you know, that
yeah.
kind of thing. Then the women must make the sandwich. I'm like, I can make my own sandwich, what?
Great,
Right?
that's great.
Right? How about for yourself, like in terms of what you see as being a woman?
I used to think I definitely want kids. And I come from a family, I'm the only child, so I have no siblings. And I don't really have a reference point on how it's like to have like a nice big family or siblings, you know. And at the same time, I also think that there's a lot of life to be lived without a kid as well. And I
Yeah.
think that there's no right or wrong in whichever way that you want to go.
Correct.
But a lot of my friends and I are quite on the same page. Like, we're okay if we have kids, but we're also okay if we don't.
Yeah, I mean, if you've seen like social media,
Yeah.
they have this thing called DINK, double income, no kids. Their lifestyle
That's
like
great.
good.
Exactly, that's fantastic as well. If you have a dog, maybe like
Yeah,
let's
yeah,
put
yeah.
on it. Yeah, I actually spoke to my mom about it before.
Oh.
When we talked about this whole like settling down thing
Yeah.
and all that. You know, obviously me being the only child, they're concerned. They're also getting old. They want to see me settle down at some point. And her response to me was, "That's fine. Like, not gonna pressure you to have kids. That's okay as long as you're happy and he takes care of you."
Yeah, that's nice. I think also like my parents are similar. I also did tell them that if I got no kids, I have more money, then I can spend on you,
Oh, so smart. Okay,
right? So they'll be
everyone,
like, okay, you know, that kind of thing.
take notes. Take notes. Thank you so much for being with us here in this episode, sharing so much and being so
thank you.
open. I had a good laugh at some points as well. So thank you for being so candid about it. And I think at the same time, really sharing your experience is helping a lot of people out there who are watching this too.
Thank you for making me feel at ease.
Yay.
And I would like to say, if you guys have any comments on this topic, you know, I'm a advocate now for health in general, not just men's health, but health in general. You can leave them in the comments below.
Yes, we're looking forward to it. He'll personally reply. I'm very sure
will.
about that.
I
Yeah.
will.
So if you haven't already done so, please hit the subscribe button, share it with your friends, and we'll see you next time.